are going to actualize change. But you understand there are 50 million other people in the country who actually have to be reached and have to be inspired to stand up for themselves. And the spark has to begin from an individual. And the individuals who are here have decided we have to come together. We have to volunteer ourselves to go to the little spaces that we have been in. And in as much as we have not been making a lot of noise about it, we've not been maybe on mainstream media on your say timeline all through, does it mean that nothing is happening? Although we always say that in politics, optics matters a lot. But as we go forward, which way Kenya? That is the question. As we move forward, we have to be able to stand in the spaces we are in and amplify our voices, not just here on X, but in other spaces locally. For example, if you're in an area which has had systemic issues of clanism, systemic issues of negotiated democracy, you have to band together with fellow Kenyans in that area. They do not have to be just youth. Band together with fellow Kenyans in that area. And with time, with politicians coming from the US after spending decades in that, persons coming from the US after spending decades in that area, and maybe now they're coming to retire and go to Turkana to become quote unquote the leaders of that area when they have never experienced the problems of the people of Turkana. We want to change those issues of people who are just loudmouths and people who are just funny and have done crazy antics getting into office just because they have gained some popularity. People have to make informed decisions in whichever electoral unit they are in, because that is how power will be wielded. We do not want to start playing the politics of region where we band together the people of Western, that is the people of that tribal backing, the people of Rift Valley into corners, because that is not where change will be occasioned. Change will be occasioned within an electoral unit. If you are going to vote, you're going to be voting for an MCA at the ward level, you're going to vote for the constituency level for the member of parliament, the county level for the senator, governor, and the presidency. And you'll have a choice to put somebody of integrity as a president, but you also have a choice to put somebody of integrity as the MCA. We can have Okiya Omtata as president of the Republic of Kenya in 2027 or earlier if circumstances are right. But if we have the electorate in choosing wrongful MPs, these MPs will be so corrupt that they will overrule each progressive aspect of what Okiya Omtata may put into place. We may have a progressive governor, for example. We may have Morara maybe choosing to go for governor, or somebody else, Caswell going for member of parliament. And if he is a member of parliament, but is just one, for example, you find the Senate, Okiya Omtata is just one, the other senators also who are progressive in nature, but just one person has a great, a small, influence in that space. Yes, it is larger than them being outside, but it is important that we put more voices, progressive voices, in our parliaments, in our county assemblies, in all spaces. And it is quite also important to remember that in Okiya Omtata's philosophy, we want to make sure that as we are informing Kenyans, we are also bringing up new leaders, propping up new leaders in these spaces as we move forward in the near future. Because it is important that we need to start identifying ourselves and galvanizing support for ourselves. Because the future is not made by bystanders. It is made by people who are actively involved in the political landscape, in the economic landscape, and in the social landscape. We want to kill the politics of handouts and the politics of the cheap politics of showmanship and individualism. Because if we do not kill these politics, and this is a tedious task, it is not glamorous. It is not something where somebody will go and do crazy things. Somebody has to go to the people, meet the people, have office centers across the country and make sure that people are constantly educated, and these spaces keep growing and keep spreading, and people can actually be able to understand what it means to have a good governor, what it means to have a good member of parliament. And once people are roused, not just to the sins of the government, but also to the positives of alternative means of governance, they can be able to say, down with oppression, down with tribalism, and down with corruption. But as is, they see the corruption and the tribalism, but we have to bring up the solutions, the options, the alternative option, the alternate government that we want for ourselves and for the people. And Okiya Omtata is giving us that space. He's putting in his skin in the game, his monies, his influence, because he believes, and he has been approached by imperialistic forces across the country from the east and the west, and he has refused to be cowed by these influences, and he has decided we have to look inwards. And it's incumbent upon the people on here to understand that in as much as we're looking at individuals, that we ourselves have a stake. I have a stake. I've for long been a bystander, and now I have decided that I have to rise up. So rise up in the spaces you are in. You can DM Booker, you can DM me, you can DM Diora, even Senator, because that's how I got to get involved. And you will come to our space, and as we move forward and as we structurize in the run up to October 15, because we will be making a grand announcement so that we can actually have centers everywhere, so that you can actually move and branch out everywhere, so that the power centers along the people systemically. It doesn't center on Okiya Omtata, it doesn't center on Booker. It then centers on the people, and that is the direction we want to go. And I believe that as Kenyans, if we come together and we say it is not an individual who is going to save us, it is we the people. The Constitution says we the people. It's not just one person, it is we the people, and that's quite important. Thank you, Mudiora. Thank you, Booker. Thank you, Okiya Omtata. I'm anticipating that more Kenyans, as they come on board to speak, they speak about which way forward, so that we know that this is a crooked government. So speak about where you are, what you're doing, what you can do, how we can help, how Okiya Omtata can get involved. If there is corruption in an area, we need to start. You can even DM Okiya Omtata directly and raise those issues, because for us we need to start having those checks and balances for ourselves, and not just be bystanders and weak persons against the tyranny. Thank you.
Thank you Baraka. Buka, ikiwa uko tayari, ningependa tu kuwakumbusha Wakenya kwamba NCCPA iko hapa kuconsolidate zile gains ambazo Wakenya walipata wakati wa yale maandamano ambayo yaliongozwa na kizazi cha Genz. Kwa mfano, unakumbuka kulikuwa na #Occupy churches. For once we were able to clean our pulpits and rid them of the politicians and their corrupt money. And for a period, Kenya seemed like a sane country. Now, that is again we need to keep. But unfortunately, we see that we took a step back and politicians are back, and their filth is infiltrating the church yet again. Now, last week, Comrade Collins Odhiambo was arrested for making an effort to try and occupy that space. Well, he is not cowed. Eventually, he was released without charges being preferred against him. And today, he took it upon himself. Hajavunjika moyo. Leo, ameenda neno huko kwa komanda. Akaenda kuoccupy hilo kanisa, akiomba kwamba ambavyo hawa viongozi wa kanisa wanapatia wanasiasa nafasi kuzungumza, wawape pia wananchi ambao wanapigania taifa lenye uadilifu na maadili mema nafasi takriban dakika 20, ili wao pia wajulishe umma kuhusu ambavyo tunaweza tukafanya maamuzi ya busara. Kwa hiyo una kazi wewe ambaye umekuja hapa leo, hujaja kusikiza tu. Organize, because eventually we must take power to bring this pro people change that needs to happen in Kenya. Now, kabla tuende kwa Buka, Ashlyn, I see you're there, so take your 1 to 2 minutes, alafu Buka tafadhali carry on the program. Ashlyn.
Greetings, comrades, and also my fellow compatriots. Can you hear me, Mudiora? Hello.
Yes,
Oh,
Ashlyn,
okay.
we can hear you loud and clear.
Great. So, firstly, I'd like to appreciate the work that the NCPPA is doing. Even in the middle, or in the at a time when we are facing severe repression from the Kenyan state, whereby we are having unlawful arrests, threats, abductions, kidnappings, talk of disappearance of our members, and also killings. And this is an attempt for them to crush the popular revolutionary uprising that was ongoing in the streets. But I am happy that still we have the NCPPA that has come out more defiant to make sure that all the commitment, the devotion that the masses of our people put out in the streets are not forgotten or are not erased. So one thing I like to insist is that the NCPPA is here not as genius individuals who want to just, you know, get into power, but we understand that our people and the masses are the ones who make their own history. But together, they don't make these as they please. They don't make this under self-selected circumstances, but they make them under circumstances that already exist and given and also transmitted to them. And as we look at our conditions currently in the country, our realities are getting harsher and harsher. I don't have to go to the slums to actually ascertain that our people are dying. Just at looking at their faces in the streets, you could tell that it is already hard for them. Right now, you don't have to be convinced that they are killing agroecology in Kenya. You just have to see the kind of punitive and backward laws they are passing for you to be angry enough at them. So mine is to urge most of us, our Kenyans, that this war, it's ours, whether we like it or not. Even if we wish for the political class to be erased, maybe we might kill Ruto tomorrow, but does that mean that we have fixed the system? No, because the rot is deeper than we think. So this system cannot be fixed, but we are saying there is something we can do. And as Buka spoke earlier, right now we have aggressive imperialism and capitalism on one side versus patriotism. And this is the path that we just need to take. So as I finish, I will say that, the protagonists for change are the masses of our people and the organizations that we build and they build. And overcoming this system requires a revolutionary project because we've done maybe some reforms to it, but it's not actually yielding to the or translating to the needs of our people. So this revolutionary project also requires popular forces, as comrades who have come before me. Like we cannot do this in isolation. This is a noble task that requires every one of us, all individuals, all Kenyans. And it's for us to focus on we want to feel as Kenyans in Kenyans. We don't want to go to other countries for us to say, I am a Kenyan. Because at the moment, we are not even a sovereign country. We cannot make decisions for ourselves. Instead, we have a fascist government, which only is an instrument of managing the interest of the rich people in the country. Currently, I don't think even the president himself has the interest of the Kenyan people at heart, because what he is doing is hustling himself up to join the political dynasties we have in the country. He's accumulating more wealth for himself. So he's auctioning the country, auctioning his people. We cannot be tolerant to the kind